How you doing, everybody? It is Tazzdaangel back with more car talk, good conversation you can ride to. And today, what I wanted to discuss with you all is be careful of who you listen to. And specifically, what I mean is be watchful for seesaw speakers. That's alliteration. But be watchful for seesaw speakers. I'll explain what I mean by that in my conversation. A lot of times I've noticed that the people who consider themselves to be motivational speakers or uplifting speakers or even just influential speakers, many of them, while attempting to empower a certain group or demographic of people, they also find themselves depowering, if that's even a word, another group, which is why I say they're seesaw speakers. As they lift one group up, it's because they're pushing the other one down. And this group will feel great. This one, not so much. You can't see what I just did, Anchor listeners, but if you watch my video on YouTube, you'll see the demonstration I gave with the seesaws. But I mean, we all know what a seesaw is. For a seesaw to actually work, one person has to go down while the other person goes up. One has to basically lower themselves, or is de-elevated word? I'm using a lot of questionable words in this early in the podcast. Anyway, they have to descend to make the other person on the other side of the seesaw ascend, right? So I just gave a demonstration of that with my hands. It's nothing special, but hey, still go give me that view and like. But yes, many people who are influential through social media, through YouTube, through other different venues, podcasts, and so on and so forth. Many of the times they appear to be uplifting people, but they're actually diminishing another group of people. And that's something to really, really pay attention to, guys. Because that's not someone who is really aiming to help. Person just walked by. You can't really be a motivational speaker and a caring speaker if your message has to involve some form of punishment, hate, anything like that towards another group of people. Because we can disagree with what a lifestyle a person lives, or political choices, or whatever the case may be. But we don't have to put them down for doing something we don't agree with, because we don't want them to put us down for us believing something that they don't want, that they don't believe. So be very watchful. I've also noticed that some of those people, I can't say all because I really don't like to speak in definites like that. I prefer to speak in probabilities, which is why you will hear me a lot of times saying might, maybe, most, some. I don't really like to say all or every. But most people, well, I'll even say some, just to give more wiggle room. Some people who considers themselves motivational or inspirational, they appeal to a certain group to manipulate their image to that group. And particularly, as an example, I'll say there are some men who appear to uplift women, who appear to try to inspire and motivate women and empower them. They appear to do those things, but it's really to manipulate the way women view them for their own personal gain. Now, whatever they plan on gaining from that manipulation, it's not for me to say. But I do know that some of them aren't sincere in some of the things that they say. Oh, I don't know if y'all can see, so I'm throwing an extra light. Bam. I got my neck cap on with the dreads tucked. You know what I'm saying? I'm on my sway in the morning right now. Except I don't have a bib. I couldn't find any with bibs. But to get back on topic, I do this a lot. Just like I said, man, I know a lot of guys who appear to want to empower, to want to uplift women, but they're doing it to manipulate the way women see them, because if they appeal to certain feelings of certain women, then those certain individuals could look at them like, man, they really care, man. That's a real nice guy. And it makes it easier. It makes you more comfortable having conversations with this person or spending time with this person. Now, again, what their motivations are, I cannot say because I do not know. But I do know that some of these people, some of these seesaw speakers, their intentions are unsavory. Again, they aim to, and it's not just for the men who do this. It's not just the men who speak to women who do this. It's several entities in several different lanes. They appear to uplift and motivate a certain demographic, and their true intentions are not so pure, not so sincere. They're not so genuine. They don't really always appeal for the or care about the best interest of the demographic that they're speaking to, the section of people that they're speaking to. They don't always really care about that. So just be careful of who and what you allow yourselves to listen to, because if we don't know this yet, it is a fact that whatever you hear or whatever you listen to can enter your spirit, right? And that energy can change or manipulate your energy. Quick example is, I know every one of my listeners, every one of you, have heard a song that you did not like, but you ended up learning almost every word of that song. Do you know why? Because the things that you listen to, not just hear, because you can hear a noise, you hear a pin drop, but the things that you listen to, which means it's a constant hearing, the things that you listen to can even unintentionally stay. The things that you listen to don't need your permission to stay. Because again, you can be riding in the car or in someone else's car, someone else's Uber for that matter. And you can be listening, you can be on your phone, but because that music is playing, you're involuntarily listening. And then days later, you can find that song just popping up in your head out of nowhere. Even if it's the first time hearing it. Even if you don't know who that person is who sings that song will remain there because it does not need your permission to stay. So we have to give permission to the things that should stay, the things that we want to stay, the things that we need to stay. Because we know wants and needs. And we might not know this. We might not all know this. So I'll say this in case you don't know. I'm going to leave that light on just so you can see the hat. We all might not know this, but wants and needs almost always clash. Just let that sink in for a second. Just think about that. Wants and needs often clash. They often are opponents. They often contradict each other. They often just go slap against the other. And that's just one of the facts of life. You want to get something to eat. You don't need that 5-meat pizza with extra sausage. Don't need that. You need to eat, but you want that 5-meat pizza though. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need that grease. You don't need all the stuff that come along with that. And believe me, I'm not trying to talk about health. You know what I mean? Because I'm 6'4", 350 plus. I'm not the guy to say, hey, watch what you're intaking into your body. Nah. But I can say, watch what you intake to your spirit. And I mean, I could say both, but that other one ain't my fight. This is my message. This is my fight. Be careful of what and who you allow, who you give permission to stay in your spirit. Because while this person is giving a disguised message, while this person is seeming to lift you up, and they're also putting that other entity, that other group down, after a while, your vision and your mentality towards that other group can start to mirror their message. So if, again, to stay with the example I gave, if this man is saying, women, you're everything, you can do everything you can. Don't let any man hold you back. Don't let any man try to stop you from doing what you want to do. You're the one who can do it. It's all in you. Right? So in that, I'm giving motivation to the women, but I'm also sending the message that the man doesn't want you to get to where you want to go or where you need to go. I'm also giving you the message that the person who's trying to stop you and the person who's holding you back is a man. I'm giving you that message. That's a coded message. And that's just off the top of my head. That's not a message I sat and thought about. Like, these guys are sitting and thinking about. These guys are sitting and premeditating the message that they give. So if I can give you a coded message literally in seconds, what kind of coded message could you be receiving if a person's waiting a week to give it to you, 2 weeks to give it to you, a month to give it to you? If they're diligently discussing or thinking about or meditating over how they're going to deliver their message. So I'm going to finish with, be careful and selective with the people that you allow, that you give permission to stay in your spirit, to stay in your energy, to stay in your life. Because they can be appearing to uplift. They can be appearing to motivate. They can be appearing to inspire. But if their way, if their tactic, if their approach to achieving that is by putting another group of people, another individual, another entity, if to achieve the up, they must put another down, maybe that's not the messenger you should intake from. In the things that I say, in the criticism that I give, I try to make sure that if I'm giving a criticism, it's not out of disdain or any malice. It's out of me actually caring and out of me giving love. So in the podcast where I said feminism is a lie, and if you need to listen to that for more information, which I would suggest, if that struck any kind of chord in you, I suggest you listen to it, because I give my reasons. And it's not that I don't believe that women are our equals, because I do. It's not that I don't believe that everyone should have a fair shot, because I do. It is the realm of the ism. You can replace that with almost any ism, and I won't agree with it, because they will say we want this type of equality, but they don't really want the equality when you listen to the philosophies. When the philosophies or the ideologies are brought forth, you see that most isms really want special treatment. And that's me being completely honest. And again, please go and listen to that explanation that I gave in that prior episode. And you will, even if you don't agree with me, you will at least be able to understand that what I'm saying is true. It's factual. I'm not saying anything about feelings or degrading anyone. Because again, it's not like I think any other person. I don't, you know what? I'll save that for another podcast, because I'll begin to ramble if I say that part. So, even, let's think about it like this. If you want equality, that means I have to treat you exactly the same as a man. If you want equality, because equality is all across the board. It cannot be specific, because when you make it specific to certain areas, that's when it becomes special. Anything that is different in a particular area is special. If you're a doctor who went to school for dentistry, you're a doctor who specializes in this one area of dentistry, because this is where you concentrated. This is where you put most of your effort. Yes, you're a doctor, but you specialize in this one particular area. So if we put most of our energy into particular areas, and those areas become special areas, we don't get to pick which areas we want equality in, and not so much in other areas. So I said that to say, if you believe that you should be treated like a man in one area, I don't want to name an area because I don't want people to think I don't agree for the effort. So if you believe that a woman should get the exact same treatment as a man in one area that will help women, then if you truly want equality, you must also think that if a man and a woman are walking towards the door, the woman can should hold the door open for the man sometimes. That's small, but it's not really something agreed upon. If you agree that women should be treated exactly like men, which is equality. Equality means treating everyone exactly the same, all across the board, no exceptions, no specialties. So if you believe that women should be treated exactly like men in one area that will help women, you gotta also think about the areas that won't really help women so much, because it has to be all across the board to be equal, right? So that means if this area will help women, then if you believe in this in equality in this area that will help women, you must also believe in equality where if a woman hits a man or spits on a man, that he should be able to retaliate. Because if a man punches another man, he is expected, may not be so lawful, but he is expected to be able to defend himself. If a woman strikes a man, most of the time, the man, if he strikes back, is met with incredibly bad energy. And I'm not saying he should be welcomed with good energy. I'm not saying he should be welcomed with bad energy. I'm not giving my input on that at all. I'm only stating the facts. I don't want to give feelings. If a woman is on video slapping a man, spitting on him, if he strikes her back, he will be called a coward and much, much worse words that I choose not to say on my podcast. Right? And that's a fact. Now, again, my input is irrelevant. The way I feel about the situation is irrelevant. I only want to speak on facts. So factually, if we say that this area that is a positive, we have to treat women equally here. If you believe in true feminism, then you must believe that if that man strikes back, not strikes first, but strikes back to defend himself, you must also believe that, she had that coming. That's a must. If feminism is true, if it's real, if it's truly looking for equality, because if a man hits another man on camera, once that man strikes back, they're going to say, well, that guy had it coming. Should have kept his hands to himself. So if you're ready to meet both of those scenarios the same, then you're a true feminist. If not, not so much. But to get back on topic, because I got way off. When you're listening to a group, when you're listening to people, if they have to put down to lift up, question their true message. If they have to degrade to upgrade, question their true motivations. If they have to descend a group to ascend another group, check their genuine efforts. Why are they really doing this? Because if I want to lift you up, I only have to talk to and about you. True inspiration. If I want to inspire you, I will talk to you, about you, and the things that I believe you are capable of doing. I don't have to say, I don't care what those other people tell you, you can do it. I shouldn't have to. I shouldn't have to tell you that other people are plotting on your downfall. So that's why you got to go and get them. That's why you got to go succeed. You have to succeed because you want to succeed. Because at some point in time, thriving off the negativity of others won't be enough fuel for you to keep driving. So you have to have your own fuel. You have to be your own fuel. You have to continue to say, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make it. Whether that's the popular thought process or not. Whether that's what most people think about it or not. That's what you have to believe. And that's what you have to go on. So now, like most black pastors, I will close for a second time. In closing, just be mindful of who you allow and give permission to speak to you, to speak to your spirit. Make sure that if they're uplifting, that it's sincere and it's not covering up any ulterior motives. This has been a great informational, in my opinion, informative podcast, episode, whatever you want to call it. Thank you for listening to Car Talk with Tazzdaangel. As you can see, I'm always doing it in the actual car, even if it's nighttime. This is Car Talk with Tazzdaangel. Good conversation you can ride to. Have a good night.